Welcome to Kaks Bar and Podcast, Canada's first podcast bar. What that means is you can come here for food, you can come here for drinks, you can also come here and record a podcast. Come on down, we're located in downtown Calgary, Alberta in the Beltline area. See you soon.
And we're rolling. I'm here today with Paul Stauffer. I'm also here with Matt. Matt, what was your last name again?
Matt Alden or Matthew Alden.
Matthew Alden. And we got Jay.
Yeah, Jay Hyder.
Jay Hyder. Okay, specifically, a little rundown of who these guys are. And I got to tell people, this is our second take here. We actually already said all this and then redoing it. But Paul Stauffer, previous guest on Kaks Bar and Podcast. He is a writer, but now he's part of Brewery Touries. Blam, 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 blam. Here's the QR code as well. Okay. The team here, they do brewery tours. But before we do that, again, a quick little intro on Matt and Jay.
Hi, my name is Matthew Alden. I'm an actor here in Alberta. I live in Edmonton. I've done a sketch comedy show called Caution May Contain Nuts for 5 seasons on APTN. Tiny Plastic Men, which was a Canadian comedy nomination. And it was 4 seasons on Super Channel. It's on. You can find it on YouTube. Yeah, and I'd like to also pitch Dry Heat right now. That's my last pitch. It's a thing on YouTube. It's a cop show in Edmonton.
Wait, you also got a movie out right now.
Oh, this one's a good one to go see. Go and see Hey Victor. And I don't have the movie out. I'm in this movie and I'm pitching it hard. It's called Hey Victor. It's an indigenous comedy that is so funny, pushes the lines all over the place. It's kind of about a remake of Smoke Signals 2.
Yeah, spin-off reboot of Smoke Signals 2. Yeah,
starring Cody Lightning, who was in the original as a kid and is this great comedian. He's an Echo in Marvel's Echo, and he was actually a guest on Brewery Touries, as we put it back.
We had him on last week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And speaking of Brewery Touries, we have our producer here.
Yeah, my name's Jay. I'm an international student from the States, and I was working with Paul on a project for a mutual friend of ours, and he kind of pitched this idea over the top to me, just saying, he's got to go shoot this thing with his friend. And I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was basically, get me in on that. That's probably the best idea I've ever heard out of your mouth.
I need people filming me drinking. Can you film me drinking?
So, this is a kind of like a Food Network level energy going into these cultures where people want us to be at. People are excited to come in and film. Normally you got to have them sign a release, but these people are, begging us to come in the door.
Okay,
and I love that.
Hey, touch up on that. Like, did you guys just straight walk into these breweries like, hey,
we call them ahead of time. No, we don't do that. But we do walk in and pitch them and then, set a date and a time.
Yeah.
And what's the thought process? Oh, sorry to cut you off. Was the thought process just, hey guys, like, you guys get a drink in our brewery and tell more people about our brewery, so it's like mutually beneficial, so they're like, come on in kind of thing? And
well, I mean, we're kind of
into the mic, sir.
We're kind of coming off from the writer strike, and we're kind of looking for something to do. So, and
naturally,
I had this idea sort of back in the day to sort of, before the brewery started becoming a real big thing, it kind of went out of the basement and out of the sort of like small breweries that were like the Big Rocks or the Village or, the early boys.
Yeah.
And so the idea to just sort of like, well, why don't we just kind of promote these guys, give a little bit of a showcase for ourselves and our own sort of things. And, he's been working on all his different shows up in Edmonton and thinking of it as a sort of cross Alberta thing, kind of showcase the region, turn it into, and we really just started reaching out based on that idea. We started reaching out to the breweries themselves and just say, hey, this is the sort of plan. We're 2 old buddies. We want to have a drink at your place and promote you guys and just kind of be jackasses for 20 minutes, but also get like a tour of, the facility.
Of course.
Learn about the process of making the beer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And make it a little bit of an educational thing, a food and travel sort of something pitchable.
And you guys always go in earlier, right? You guys go in during the
we like
day
to get in there a couple hours before they actually open And we just it's a little Mr. Rogers. We walk in, it's like, hey guys, good to see you, and then we immediately go into
power drinking.
Well, no, we go and see the brewery. It's and like
we
Paul
see the establishment. And basically, I've been learning the process of beer making. So I've been going step by step, and just like we're seeing the milling and the mashing and the boiling and the fermentation and all the sort of like procedures. In as much as like all the places are kind of the same, set up a little differently, of course. The aesthetics all different.
Actually, they're also not the same. They're all completely different. Breweries are very, they have their own identity. Everyone has
definitely their own identity. And
we're learning way more than we thought we would. Actually, that was going to be a fun thing because we've been friends since we were 4. That's another thing in the show.
Shit.
Since we met here in Calgary. Back in the day. And I moved away when I was 13. We've stayed friends until this day. We've worked on a bunch of projects, and so whenever we'd meet up, we'd like, let's go for a craft beer.
Yeah.
And not when we were kids.
Yeah, right.
But
let's go for lemonade.
Let's go get a craft lemonade. Yeah. But the idea kind of came from that, and that was just going to be kind of fun. But we've entered into this world now of what craft beer is, and it's really fun because most of the people who do this are friends with each other and they work together.
Quite literally, It's what I've noticed with all the vendors.
Yeah, it's not your normal thing. It's not crazy. Like the guys who have comic book stores and like, what? You have wizards in the central?
But it's almost like the most unoriginal like superhero gatherings. It's just a bunch of friends getting hammered every time. Like, let's start a brewery.
Yeah. And they all have one guy put it really great when we were out in Spruce Grove. He said that there's a lot of similarities, so everyone understands the journey, even though everyone's journey to get to having a brewery is completely different. They'll all have different roads, but they all understand the same thing, and they like to sample each other's wear. They give each other like notes. It's great.
And we've gotten to really see kind of their journey along the way because we reached out to the Alberta Brewery Association and any other organization where these brewers really gathered. And so we've seen everything from the hobbyist brewer that's, just wants to be in the communities, active on Reddit, to people that are running their own breweries and trying to be leaders in these communities. And as soon as they see us, they say, "Oh, you guys got to go check these people out. Have you been out this way yet? There's a great brewery over there." And they're trying to share the love and get more people interested.
Yeah, it's definitely community, I noticed. Like, yes, everyone's trying to make money, but it's like at the same time, they all got into it because of good times. So they want everyone to have good times.
And there's a bunch of connoisseurs out there. We've even met some of them because they tell you, they're the regular here, but they're also the regular over there and the regular over there.
Yeah.
And also these guys sometimes, they might live in Edmonton or Calgary or whatever, but when they travel, that's where they go. They go and stop and they let you know.
Have you heard of Don the Beer? His name's Don. Well,
Don the Beer?
Don the Beer, yeah, is on Instagram. He's literally I had him on the podcast. He's a beer, like literally a beer writer. He goes around trying beers. And
We'd like to have him on our show.
Oh, dude, yeah, I'll connect you guys.
Don the Beer, if you're listening.
Yeah, it's right up your alley. Yeah.
Where does he live?
I came across his Instagram when I was looking around it.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to reach out and find people that were, really ingrained in the community, but didn't have like a cash interest in us going to their place.
Right.
So I was looking around Twitter, Instagram, finding some of these people and just kind of browsing, seeing where they go, where their normal haunts are, and ended up actually reaching out directly over Reddit and got a huge amount of community pull telling us to go try some of these places. But the more people like that we have as guests on the show, the better. Because then it's not just us knowing them, it's them knowing us as well. That's what this community is about, is just being right there next to the person at the bar, having that conversation.
Speaking of which, we had another Shawn on our show today who totally knew a lot about beer.
I know.
And Paul can, I'll segue into you.
Yeah, Shawn Field he runs YYC Tours. He'd be a great guest, very knowledgeable. He's going through the processes of being, an official beer tasting judge.
How do you get that credential?
It's schooling. Apparently, it wasn't easy.
There's a schooling, and apparently, it is not easy.
Okay,
he was showing us the just the criteria and all this sort of stuff. Just
it's the last thing I remember. As soon as it got really schooly, I tuned out.
Holy jumping! And
He did say at the beginning
we
too.
went into this without any sort of like preface that we knew what we were doing.
We
Just like
don't.
the idea that we wanted to like, we like beer. And
We just
let's
know we
hang
like
out
beer.
and
That was
have
where
a
we
good- you know,
started.
it gives us an excuse to hang out and have a good time and meet people, do the thing, promote some folks, and do something for ourselves.
Mhm.
And within it coming, we're learning about the process of beer making
Mhm.
and getting the sort of the spectrum of flavors.
Yeah.
Getting the,
Prior to your journey here,
Yeah.
like, did you guys like for me? I drink a lot of beer too, and I'm not gonna lie, like I wouldn't say
good to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Stone Cold
thank
Steve
you,
Austin.
thank
You
you,
can thank
thank you
him
for your service.
Yeah, but would you guys say like most people, do they know really how to drink beer? Like, because I wouldn't say necessarily I know how to drink beer. I just like what I like. I don't necessarily think too hard about it because majority of the
I
time
don't think it's a how. It's just a different.
It's not like wine, where
no,
wine's
it's
like
not.
you gotta,
I think that a wine. Apparently, you have to really know lots of stuff. And this guy explained how each one of the beers, there is something you should be looking for, but you don't need to know that going in. I think it's just more of try flights when you go to a place. Try all the different ones, and then go to the one you like. But like, keep pushing your flavor boundaries
and your palate. You know what I mean? Like, I was always very specific to sort of the darker side of things without even knowing really why. Yeah, well, and like
before the beer,
because you like
I
the
know that this is a
creaminess.
more darkly roasted malt.
That's the Old Beautiful Dark Lager, right?
Yeah.
So
this, I can tell you, has a more the longer roasted malt.
He's gonna say robust,
which gives a more robust. I love the robust.
I know.
You're not wrong.
But
you get the Boulder. I go for 5 a day.
I sent them both a link of how to
Use the word
enunciate
robust.
on how food feels.
I'm not good at it. I've been an improviser and a performer. And I can't do it. I can't think of and it tastes like good.
Yeah, it was a whole list of how to describe food, from like the feeling to the smells and all that.
I'm still not good
And
at
I was
it.
like, please.
Mine's just the word yummy.
I've learned,
that's what whenever you get.
Yummy.
Crisp, robust. Haven't used zesty yet. I got to use zesty.
I told
I
them
should just
to
use a lot of
pretend
swears.
every time they take a drink. Just tell me something
Can you
about
swear
it.
on this?
Oh yeah.
Can you swear on this?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, yeah. I would like to do stuff like, this is fucking melodic. Like, no, you put a swear and then you say a word that doesn't exist.
Oh yeah, and that does what? Like,
what word is that?
It makes me take a second take. Is what it does.
Exactly.
This is fucking
That's exactly where
indubitable.
Jay says,
No?
we're going to do that again. We're going to do that one again.
Yeah.
But it will go into the last episode.
Jay's a great producer, by the way.
We'll go into the last.
Again, let's focus on a little bit on how you found Jay then, right? Because like it sounds like you guys came up with that. Let's have fun drinking somewhere, and then like
which was a hard plan. It took us years to come up with let's have fun drinking plan.
It was a real head scratcher for a while.
Now there might be some confusion because he did say that Paul asked him, but technically,
You asked.
yeah, I did. Yeah, but you said Paul at the
Oh,
time.
did
So,
I?
it's fine. Yeah, well, we can rewind the
Don't
tape.
worry,
It's
I'll
fine.
give you credit.
But I asked Jay because we had worked together on this project.
were you
And-
watching King of the Hill when you thought of Jay?
No, but I think of King of the Hill whenever I talk to Jay.
He fakes an accent like mine on his other show.
Can you say propane and propane accessories?
Propane and propane accessories.
Fuck yeah!
Yeah,
love this guy.
Most people ask me to say blueberry, mountain, strawberry, library.
Jay, where are you from though? Where are you from? Where?
I'm from Florida originally. A lot of family in Texas, and my accent got lost in the middle.
Okay, yeah, because I couldn't quite pinpoint it, but I was
Isn't
like,
it great?
yeah,
It's,
I love it.
So
yeah.
I do this. A friend of mine named Dana Anderson. He used to work with Mike Myers back before Mike suddenly got big and famous.
Yeah, that Austin Powers.
Yeah, that
fellow.
Austin Powers guy.
I
Yeah.
got him.
And so Dana
The
Anderson,
love guru.
he's
Yeah.
an
Oh,
old
yes,
classic improviser that lived in Toronto and had moved back to Edmonton. And we ended up doing this new show in the fall because he said, I miss doing improv. I'm like, we can meet up once a week. I got these cameras. We can just film something stupid. So we went to film one sketch, but that turned into a sketch kind of show about an Edmonton cop and a Calgary cop in a 70s kind of cop way, where we just had a gunfight in a cemetery, like no repercussions, just kill a guy and go, we did it, that kind of thing. And it grew, and now we've been doing them. We just released our 13th episode today of Dry Heat. But the cop, I just put on a mustache and a cowboy hat, and I'm from Calgary, but and I grew up here in Calgary. But
What's your character's name?
Jimmy Saddledome, and I speak with a southern accent that makes no sense. I'm from Calgary, and I just make up things about Calgary, like in Calgary,
just absurd, ludicrous nonsense.
Yeah, if you're not a fan of the CFL, they'll hang you. Or like everyone's got a truck. Cars are not allowed.
Yeah, cars aren't.
I got pulled over once for not having a "fuck Trudeau" bumper sticker over my truck nuts. It's the law. And we just make up random stuff. Like we went to a gym, and I'm like, we don't got gyms in Calgary. We just lift bales of hay, and it's over the top and weird, but it's taken off. It's hard to explain. That happened before I met him. So when I met him, I'm like, I kind of do a cartoon version of your accent in this online show.
So you guys all liked each other, and then it's kind of like, hey, you also can film, and then
we were working on a documentary for someone that I really respect. That's a mutual acquaintance of ours, and so she had hired out Matt to take care of some of the editing stuff, which is something that I'm very passionate about, is like editing and video creation.
Nice.
He's way better than me.
So I decided, hey, if you're actually going to pay him for what I got brought onto, like I'm going to be his assistant whether he likes it or not. So before I knew it, I was in his studio taking notes on his process and going like, wow, I'm way faster than this guy. But we hit it off, and he mentioned this idea that him and his great friend Paul has, and I said, that's a fantastic idea. Why aren't you running with it?
Well,
and this has legs.
And that being said, Matt and I pitched the idea to him, and he dug it, and within a very short amount of time, this is like back in last year, October, November, because we filmed sort of pilot test, sort of beta test.
Last year sounds longer ago. It's 6 months ago.
It was 6 months ago, but it was in November. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when
time works differently when you drink every day.
It does, especially when you're getting older. But
where am I?
But where are we again?
Where are we again?
No one's recorded this, are they? Marty, we gotta get back. We're on the internet.
Actually, you do kind of look like Doc if you got a haircut.
I know it's getting bad these days. The gray is happening.
I threw the idea at him, and he said, "Yeah, it sounds good. Let's do it." And 88, local here. Said, we'll be a part of it. And fortunately, Jordan, and from there is he was wicked. And my neighbor, shout out to Donovan and Jordan. My neighbor's Donovan, works there. He helped hook it up.
But that ended up just being kind of our pilot episode.
And it definitely became sort of like a pilot episode and a sort of a tester.
We called ourselves the Alberta Brew Boys back then.
Yes, so that was we had a different
It was
name.
Months ago. Things changed.
Ago. How
we
times
were
have
children
changed.
back then.
Triple B's, Alberta Brew Boys.
Yeah.
So they showed me this beta test episode, and it was really good. I like their formula. I mean, Matt has his iconic drone shots that he likes and everything, which it looks fantastic when you're looking at these big old vats from over the top and really getting a sense for how much product these people are making and what they believe in.
Yeah.
So I watched it, and it had this kind of Food Channel Network vibe to it. Matt's high energy. Paul was great going through the 88th Brewery Tour. And I said, we really have something here. We just have to kind of fix up the structure a little bit, get it into like a YouTube quality bite.
Yeah.
Aiming at probably, 12 to 15 minutes instead of the 30 or 35 that the 88th was.
7 hours long. That was the first episode.
So we sat down for a couple months just sitting there talking about it, saying, well,
The first season.
What does this structure look like? How many people are we going to? Who do we reach out to? And as those weeks went by, meeting every single week, suddenly this wasn't just an idea anymore. That
was a super helpful sort of time for having, like, Jay coming on board was extremely helpful to have a sort of like a cohesive unit.
Let's be honest. We wanted to have drinks and be idiots, and we needed someone really organized and awesome.
use our own equipment.
You guys need the youngest guy to be the adult of
we needed someone who doesn't like to drink so much. And
I like the acquaintance he mentioned is actually the daughter of a friend of mine, like a lifelong friend. So that's there's like 18 years. There's at least a legal adult.
Jay, how old are you?
I'm 30.
30? Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm 48. So there you go. One legal adult difference of age.
And he's older than me.
Yeah. You're
Oh
done.
yeah, wait,
It's
a month and a half?
And don't you
Not
forget
even
it.
no month and a week.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Okay, so let's rattle off how many breweries you've been to so far here.
Oh, great.
rattle them off.
Okay,
Let's give
we
them all
went to
shout outs.
88 first.
We went to
88.
88 first. That was our first tester, beta test.
Then
And
in Edmonton, we went to Town.
It should be
Square.
7 so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in Edmonton, we went to Town Square. After that, we went to Analog. Great
Analog
place.
was super fun. That was neat.
Town Square, awesome. Analog,
Yeah, and-
amazing.
yeah. Everyone
After
we've been to is amazing.
We went back to Edmonton and we did
Ravenwolf and Spruce Grove.
Ravenwolf and Spruce Grove,
Mhm.
70 Acre.
And before then,
in,
70 Acres. Yeah, that was
and that
also.
was,
both of those were fabulous places. Everyone treated us so
Did you guys
well,
go to
too.
Sylvan Lake yet?
Sherwood Park.
No, we haven't gone out
Snake
that
Lake,
far.
Snake Lake Brewery, super awesome. Yeah, I know Adam, so I
Oh,
can
excellent.
set that
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
I'm
That would
telling
be
you,
great.
as soon as people know about this, they're like,
Oh,
"Yo,
yeah.
I've got a brewery for
Oh,
you to
like
go
you know,
to.
we
Please
with
cover
our
it."
vendors and stuff, like Cold Garden, Dan Lard. Like I went to university with him
We're
and
doing
Blake.
Cold
Oh,
Garden.
nice.
That's,
Yeah.
that's on the agenda.
Yeah.
Is
So
it-
do,
when do we do Cold
to do
Garden?
a quick backtrack. So we did. We
I love Cold
in
Garden. I'm
our-
pretty sure I listened to them as a band in the 90s. It just sounds like
I think you're thinking of wait, what are you thinking of?
probably it's a mixture of
Coldplay.
Coldplay and Soundgarden.
Soundgarden.
Savage
Yeah,
Garden.
yeah.
No,
Yeah, you're
Soundgarden.
thinking Savage
Yeah,
Garden.
I listened to Soundgarden, not
just
Savage
making
Garden.
Sure.
My favorite Soundgarden track is "I Love You Truly, Man."
I know you
Oh,
do.
damn it!
I know it is your favorite.
No, I don't.
Mine too. No,
So to do a quick backtrack, we did.
I like these
last
coasters,
week.
by the way. They're just like fun to flick around.
Yeah, man.
I was watching
Yes.
that new X-Men '97 remake, so like,
Oh,
Yeah,
how is
Wicked.
it? I haven't
it's so
seen
good.
it. Yet.
I think I'm Gambit now. All of a sudden, we're just
Oh,
like flicking
dude.
these little coasters.
I just love in
around.
the trailer when he jumps on Wolverine and charges his claws. I'm
First,
like, yes.
first,
Yes.
can do
second
that.
episode. It's rad, man.
Oh, we
Oh,
just took
yeah.
a sharp turn. Just
Oh,
like,
I know.
all
We
right,
talk
let's
about
talk about
whatever.
X-Men. I can do.
Yeah,
Give
we
me
can, but
3
we can.
hours.
It's podcast.
Let's
Podcast,
cycle back. I just wanted to say that, like, just to promote the places
yeah.
Keep
that
us
we
on
did.
track. That's what Jay's for.
Yeah. So
We can go off track too,
last
boys.
week,
I mean, get people to know your personalities. You know,
Was
everyone
it
they
last
like
week
X-Men.
Or lack
or
of.
the week before.
The last week.
Last week we were in Sherwood Park, 70 Acre, fabulous facility, great place.
And big shout out while we're on 70 Acre. They really covered for us. We had a brewery kind of drop out last minute.
Yeah.
And
What do you mean by drop out? Like they
Just
they had an inspection, I think, that
Yeah,
okay.
kind of overlapped, and they didn't even realize it till last minute. So we were, I think, the day before or
2
2 days
days.
before,
2 days before.
we found out that one of our 10 just dropped out on us.
Mhm.
So we were scrambling.
And-
70 Acre was on my way
and-
home,
and
so
the
I just
same
dropped
thing
in.
happened, and the same thing happened at the other previous Analog was a fill-in that
Mhm.
we got
And they were
within
fantastic. I'm so happy we
frickin'
got
8
them.
hours. It was amazing. Analog, I cannot like they got us covered within hours.
Yeah.
They were awesome.
Hey, so like walk me through the like the business side of this thing. Like, do you guys have to do the
We're
brewery-
losing money fast, Sean.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest.
That's
Our
why
lives
that's
are
why we're here.
furious.
That's why we're here.
does the breweries kind of
No.
like do you guys get paid to do
No.
this? Or,
No,
like, is-
we
No,
don't
no.
really have
Again,
to
we're
pay
losing
much.
money, Sean.
Yeah.
We're here.
I can
This
cover
is-
this for the most part. So this is a passion project right now.
Yeah.
And we've had a few kind of plans lined up.
Mhm.
And essentially, any brewery we go to, they're more than welcome to have any of the B-roll that doesn't have Matt or Paul in it if they want to use it however they want.
yeah, like the drone shots. And
Exactly.
Things like,
And we've offered to a few of the places if they want us to take our footage and put together like a little 1-minute thing for them.
Mhm.
If they kick us like $600, we'll happily do a little commercial. No big deal.
yeah. Okay.
Nobody's really taking us up on it.
Yeah.
But our main
But for now, it's just exposure. It's just more
Exactly.
exposure. Everyone's mutual exposure.
it's work
yeah,
being done,
Yeah.
exposure happening.
yeah.
And we're about to launch our Indiegogo very soon, so we can get kind of that Kickstarter worth of funds coming in and replace some of the money we've already spent
We're
coming
gonna
down here.
we're starting a Patreon.
If someone just
And,
wants to give us $5 a month, even for a couple months,
Yeah.
it would really help. For every $5 you spend, it could, for the price of a cup of coffee, you could wipe a scowl off my wife's face.
That works
for
a lot
doing this.
better when Indiegogo is up.
Yeah, it does. It's not up yet, so
I know.
well,
That's the plan.
So Jay, right now, do you have like a day job then as well? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I go to school on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then I'm a hot tub repair tech because I like to work with my hands.
Yep.
Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and then I do this with these two yahoos and keep
Cool.
them on track on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So I've got
3
a full
fronts.
week.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
student, hot tub repair guy,
But
and Brewery Touries.
I mean,
video
everyone
editor.
in here
Brewery
knows how
producer,
much of a
and all
juggler
around,
that is.
and number
though.
4, all around fucking awesome dude.
Yeah,
Anybody
fuck yeah.
that's trying to create,
fellow
though,
ginger,
you know
can't
that
go
you
wrong
don't have
there.
time. You got to make it.
I'd like, well, so then you two guys are just still in the entertainment game then, right? But right now you said there's like a writer's strike.
Well, I mean that's well done and over, but I've also
Okay.
been like full-time dadding.
Yeah.
So this was also a little side project that I could get going and do before, and just the sort of way our the leaves and everything are.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Got childcare going on, being full-time dad. I love it.
And Matt, like, do you have a lot
Mom's
of
working, so it's all working out. Got some good parental care. It's good.
Hey, someone has to look after the child there.
Little
so.
one. So yeah, we're doing that, and Matt's running his own business, doing his thing, and
Yeah, I'm actually I've been making some documentaries and doing some stuff. I've got a project coming out with 9 episodes called Our Voices, which is Indigenous women talking about different subjects for 9 episodes. I know it might be like, what? But that's that's what I've been working on.
Okay.
And also I've just finished a documentary called Finding Justice about the 2 Métis hunters that were murdered up north. And so it's a totally different thing. It's very serious, but that's coming out some film fest, and it will be here, I think, at the Justice Film Fest or something coming up. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So
we also put together a film a little while ago. It's doing
Old
pretty
Farm.
well. An Old Farm.
yeah, The Old Farm on YouTube. Check it out. It's a farm. It's a farm. It's a film about a farm and a guy that's got dementia. He's getting the beginnings of dementia. And he's got to sell his farm, and he's got 2 adult kids. And it was
Selling the farm off to the kids.
yeah, it's a 30-minute film. It's a drama.
Dana
and-
Anderson's in it.
Yeah, and it's going to be
It's-
playing actors playing it here in Edmonton. In Edmonton and Calgary on the 22nd of April at some theater. If you're really interested, check it out in ACTRA, or you can see it on YouTube.
Probably the Globe. That would be my guess.
It's
I
somewhere.
won't quote that. but-
It's basically there's a bunch of ACTRA gave $2,000 grants to do your own film, which isn't a bunch. I'm part of the union and I love ACTRA. They're great, but it's not a lot. And we ended up having this amazing friend of mine, Wes Doyle, who's a director of photography. He's done tons of films. He's a real big guy, and he actually did Tiny Plastic Men and Caution May Contain Nuts. So I asked him if he would do this, and he brought out all his own equipment, and he just one man showed it. He was unbelievable. And he was, and actually Davina Stewart, the actress in it, was nominated for an Alberta Film and Television Award, and she lost for Best Actress to Jan Arden. So
Okay.
Kinda cool.
So the arts have been essentially, like, you guys are all kind of in the arts. That's
Yeah, I'm
basically the way I
reporter
see it
tech.
right now.
You know what? I was here a couple weeks
the
ago.
hot tub repair thing doesn't really fit in the art.
Well,
but it's just,
There's an art to it.
Yeah, I have a background in U.S. military.
okay.
So I've always worked with my hands.
Yeah.
And my resume has always been, a little bit more on the technical storytelling side.
Yeah.
I didn't get into theater groups or film or any of this creative aspect until I arrived here in Canada.
Okay.
I'm still catching up on lingo and everything else.
How long you
And
been in Canada then?
About 4 years.
4 years?
A little bit over.
Sweet.
And I've
Oh,
realized.
wait, lingo. You got to mention on the way up here. We were talking about Banff, and he had a misunderstanding on what Banff means.
Yeah.
Tell him about the
I
teacher.
got
That
him.
was funny. Yeah.
I think one of my very first days up here, I was going into MacEwan University, and I had this really great art history professor that was kind of introducing himself to the course and told us that he was from Banff University. In my background, Banff, BAMF stands for badass motherfucker.
Oh, Banff.
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 So
Yeah.
I thought he
Like
was
Nightcrawler.
telling us he
Yeah.
had a degree in, badassery.
Yeah.
And I kind of laughed under my breath, chortled a little bit, tried to keep it covered.
Yeah.
And after the class, the prof came up to me and asked if I had an issue or if I needed to talk to him about something. And I just kind of put my hands up and I was like, no, man, it's all right. If, whatever you want to tell people, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm not going to judge you for it.
I sound a bit off though. I didn't realize Banff had a university though. Like Banff doesn't have a university.
Oh yeah. No, it's always had a little thing there, tiny. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
does it? No,
Yeah.
I don't. Okay,
Yeah,
I
he
don't
was a great professor, but
Pretty sure. Yeah.
didn't
no,
have
actually,
the degree
definitely.
I thought he had.
okay.
Yeah, there's a great acting program there. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, never mind. Well, fuck me then.
I don't know. I'm not that good an actor. I never
I've
went to
I've been to
Banff.
Banff many times. I guess
I
I
went to
didn't pay
Banff.
attention.
I had a coffee.
Yeah. Sorry, Hendo, if you're watching this. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Hendo brews the RTDs that we have on tap. So the ready to drinks, the Shaft and the Margarita, and yeah, maybe that's another guy I can kind of put you in touch with there. So I think you guys know this better than I do. I think there's 60 breweries in Calgary, right?
60?
I think so. There's something like that.
Wow,
Right?
we could just do just Calgary and do season after season.
I think that's what I. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's something like that in Calgary.
Sorry to the poster, Shawn. 60 breweries in Calgary.
Yeah. We compiled a list.
Yeah.
That has got 270 names on it.
Shit. In Alberta?
That is in Alberta.
Okay.
A couple in BC is a part of this sort of.
Is the goal to go more than local,
and
or
it's golden, and
the goal is to eventually be like, first of all,
it is a mixture that's 270 predominantly breweries and quite a few distilleries. Which is actually another sort of aspect that we're kind of thinking about exploring, is because there's a lot of distilling happening in Alberta.
Mm-hmm.
We're becoming
one of the goals is to, honestly, if we could get to the place, be like, we're going traveling. We're going to a different place. We're going to
get sponsored and have
seriously, just go to Ireland
have us come there.
Yeah,
so we can.
That's literally what Don the Beer does. Like he gets flown now to parts of the world to literally try beer. Right?
He sounds way better than us.
Yeah, he figured it out.
But he's been at it I think he's been doing it for I forget 9 or 10 years now. But I'll put you guys in touch because it's totally right up your alley.
Main goal
Always
is
on the
that,
camera, never the microphone.
To get work, you've got to be making work in the creative industry.
Big time.
And so getting us active out here, getting experience filming, and especially for someone like myself as a student, that experience and having something to show someone matters a lot. Mm-hmm. And especially if it's something that you actually like.
Having the ownership of it for sure. Like we're all
33% across the board.
So it's good.
Oh, you guys all 33.3?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, sweet.
And just
is this? Oh, sorry. Is Brewery Touries? Is it incorporated as a business?
Not yet. But as soon as we get traction, that's the first thing.
That's kind of the thing.
Yeah, we're just trying to. It's one of those things where you can't just start it and go, we want to get some money. We want to start this thing. It's really hard to get that, especially if you're doing a show about we're gonna drink a bunch of beers at different places.
I don't know. There's some lenders that will lend that. It's just high interest.
Well, but you know what? Now it's a lot easier because we can go, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like now. So, we just had to actually get up and do it. Mm-hmm. A lot of people talk about doing stuff. And we're all like, you got to get up and do it.
Yeah, like
I know
we're the first podcast bar ever.
And this as a pitch is kind of off. You want me to pay you to go out and just fucking.
It depends on how much you're asking for, right? If your overhead's just you need equipment fronted, then there's so many lenders that can put you in the right direction with that. Literally, they're higher interest lending, but
fantastic.
But they're under very decent. How can I put it? Payback schedules that just so so that you can have that cash up front, get what you need, and then. If you're only trying to make a couple $100 per situation, then
we look pretty heavy into some of the different grant works that are here.
Yeah.
Because Alberta does a surprisingly good job of trying to fund creators, get things made, keep Alberta on the map.
Yeah.
But as an international student, I don't apply for any of it. It just gets mixed straight away.
I know
that's really up to these two here.
Yeah. And they do have Alberta does have Canada has loads of good grants. We're going for them as a business all the time, but the weird thing I've noticed is they all require, not all, a lot of them require a 1 year of operations with no help from anyone. So it's kind of weird.
That's why having one season is kind of the same thing. We think it's we can be like,
just grind that first one
with no money or even a small amount from people. Just
I always feel
donating,
that's backwards.
Going, you get them.
I always feel like that's backwards.
It is.
If someone's trying to help start something up, shouldn't you start them up when they have nothing, not watch them deal cocaine on the side to get money and then run their show and then be
to pay for the shit?
Which was our original concept for the show, and that didn't work.
Jay
was totally against the part where we in the middle we just dealt cocaine to pay for the show.
A lot of.
And that would take this quick break to sell an 8-ball to a guy named Coley.
It was messy.
We basically sat down and we're ready to film this entire first season straight out of pocket.
Yeah.
And then however much traction we got determines how far we're going.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough too because we live in 2 different cities. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
yeah,
would
that's
love
right.
to do this
That's right.
full
Yeah,
time.
and that was a
J2.
big. And that
Oh,
was
Jay,
also,
you're in.
I'm in Edmonton.
And
They're
okay,
both
you're
in
both
Edmonton.
Edmonton. Okay.
and that's why we sort of just within our sort of parameters, we're just like, well, let's do a couple around here. We'll do a couple around there.
Yeah.
We'll do a couple in between.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to Red Deer
And Lacombe.
and Lacombe. We're doing Blind Man Brewery in
Fuck yeah, yeah.
Lacombe.
Oh yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna
Blind
do-
Man Brewery is awesome too.
Yeah, we're going to do Red Heart Brewery in Red Deer next week on Tuesday and Wednesday. I think it's April
Okay,
2nd and
so
3rd.
this is a once a week right now. You guys
we're
shoot.
just trying to get 10 episodes. We're
We're,
actually going to end up doing the Beer Fest.
Oh,
We're gonna
sick.
do
one of
Beer
our last
Fest.
ones.
Oh yeah, hey,
Yeah.
we're going to be there as well.
We're
You
gonna-
guys,
we're gonna
hop on.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
We'd
yeah,
love to touch base with you.
yeah.
on
I'm gonna
camera.
have the podcast up there. So
Sweet.
just check back
Excellent.
in.
We'll
Yeah,
swing
yeah,
by
yeah.
and
Yeah.
visit, and we can do a little cross shoot.
Yeah,
How do
yeah.
you do?
Let's do
How
it
do you-
again.
yeah, that'll be
Oh
wicked.
yeah, big shout out to that festival as well. We
Oh, yeah.
reached out to them, when we really only had our teaser up,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I asked if they would like to have us on, if we could get some press passes.
Dealing with
and
Bob
just-
and Mark and Bob.
I'd have to look at the email. It was a
Yeah.
while ago,
Okay, yeah.
but
Yeah,
I
they're
know
great
he
dudes.
hooked us up straight away,
Right
and
away.
under 6 hours later,
Yeah.
he had media passes in my inbox, 3 of them.
Sweet.
Told us about the Thursday meet and greet with a lot of the people that were coming to show.
Oh, the
and
Beer
then-
Fest guys are just like you. How they started. It's really
Yeah.
super hilarious.
It's such an
actually.
They were
amazing
here for it. They
community.
want us
Yeah.
to be there.
Especially
Yeah.
actually saying, coming from like a comedy background,
Mhm.
it's a really amazing community
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
comedians, sketch comedy people, improv people, they're all kind of like your friends,
Yeah.
but they're not. They're kind of cutthroat, and everyone's in their different groups.
Yeah, it's
and
competitive.
Like,
yeah,
it
yeah.
becomes like it immediately goes from like everyone watches them people on stage, but backstage it's like different
Cut-
bars
a
and
little
places.
cutthroat.
Yeah,
It's like Jets versus the Sharks.
it's-
Ooh, you're in the
we,
funny Jets.
We have comedy night here on Thursday nights. The show's called Laughs at Kaks. So yeah, like the comedy community like performs here, and then we do I haven't been keeping up with it because of just my schedule, but I'm going to bring it back. We do like post comedy show podcasts in here, so I have like up and coming comics in here just riffing away.
Comics
and,
are different because they're all 1-1. Comics are like a Call of Duty solo match. Everyone against each other, but
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. There's a spicy community. There's definitely a lot of.
you know what?
feel like I'm watching episodes of
art
Survivor all the
unfortunately
time.
lends itself to that, and I'm not trashing it. I just came from that,
it's
so
individual,
it's so different
right?
to see these people being like, "Yeah, man, I know these guys. I went over there and we tasted one brew, and I brought over some stuff to them, and they helped me.
Mhm.
We ran out of malt one day and called them, and they dropped it off. It's like,
Mhm.
what? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like
Well-
the collaborations that happen within the groups. It's really cool. The weird beer. That was a whole collab. You know about the weird
As
beer?
opposed to like a sketch troupe, like the Pompous Weasels hate the
Yeah, yeah.
assaulted nuts, and you're like, oh,
Up in Edmonton, within the Brewers Association up there, they developed this sort of program for a panel.
Well, let's give Analog Brewing the credit they deserve. They've
Oh,
been
yeah.
really trying to be leaders of their community
Yeah.
and trying to make things happen, getting people together to try these weird things.
they do some neat stuff.
And one of them is that weird beer, if you want to take it back.
So they do this within the other breweries.
Mhm.
They establish they did a weird beer campaign, which effectively they were given a set of parameters, like, okay, do whatever you want, and here are the concepts: meat, Christmas dinner, barbecue, and it's like that's your sort of concept to go with. They made beers that taste like meat. Apparently, they made beers that taste like.
What was the one that was like a curry?
There was like a
Yeah, it was
curry,
a Thai curry.
A Thai curry beer?
Thai curry
We tried
beer.
a barbecue beer.
We tried a barbecue beer that basically it tasted like liquid hickory sticks, those old chips.
Wasn't bad. Went
You know,
down.
it wasn't bad. It
I wouldn't
wasn't
order a
bad.
6-pack, but I would enjoy one of them.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
It was
I mean,
really
you think
good.
of barbecue sauce and you think it's really thick, but they did a really good job of somehow capturing that flavor, like the heat that comes in the back of the mouth.
It was wild.
That's just not what I think of when I think of beer,
Exactly.
right?
Oh, I know.
I
It was
know.
a weird beer
It was-
contest, and all
and
these
you look
different
at like
breweries
this is
entered.
weird.
Mhm.
Like
It
I could not
works.
drink a 6-pack, but I could sip on that and go, "Holy crap, you did do this!"
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
bizarre.
yeah,
it was
exactly.
bizarre, and that's not a dig. Bizarre is not a dig, and that's
What?
bizarre. It was bizarre to drink barbecue sauce.
Oh,
Until
yeah.
it's not, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that was the
Okay.
weird. It was amazing that they pulled it off because
Mhm.
normally you'd be like,
Well, yeah,
and I was like, oh,
I remember I was talking to again Don the beer, bring him up again because it was a whole beer podcast just like this. But so he said he tried like 23,000 beers at this point. Like
Holy
it's all
crap.
documented, and
I haven't been keeping track.
yeah, like so. But I remember just asking, like talking to him about it because again, like for me, I know like I literally like own a bar, restaurant, and we sell beer and like cocktails and wine and everything. But deep down, like like all transparency, like my palate's not that in depth when it comes to beer. Like I've always been that guy that just like I like it, I don't. It's more about the vibe that's been created. So a lot of like marketing has to do with why I'll drink something. But Don was explaining, he's like, no, if you just kind of like really like clear up your palate and start to taste, it's like it becomes this whole adventure. And ever since that podcast I've been paying attention. Now I'm like more dialed in on why I like a lager versus like an amber. Or
I would like to try some more of your beers here, actually.
Yeah, they're all local right now too. Like these are all local
That's
breweries.
fantastic.
So yeah, we only have 12 taps. That's the problem, because like every day we meet breweries and vendors and they're just always trying to pitch, and obviously we know everything's great and we're just like, hey, but we only have so many taps. Yeah, we only rotate so many times.
Do you guys do tasters here?
Of those? Yeah. We can give you like.
We should do a taster.
Matt
right
is
now.
a menace for a taster.
I'm always turning tasters.
Yeah, we
this
taste
is how
it.
the show started, Shawn.
Yeah.
Literally just going.
We should film this.
We should film this. We've already had some tasters today. Obviously, we
did last best today. We did, and tomorrow we're going to do Bitter Sisters.
Yep. Hey, I'm joining you guys for Bitter Sisters. Yeah,
she's going to be.
Yeah,
with us.
you're all
excited
going
to
to do
have
it. We're going to have a blast.
Sisters.
Yeah, sweet. Why'd you invite me on that anyway? Like I'm glad to come, but like,
we're looking for people that are just interested in doing stuff.
And
okay,
people
sweet.
doing things, promote your own thing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like
so,
that's kind of like. I mean, I was like, hey, like this sounds fun to me.
We also
Yeah.
look for someone
you're,
specifically from the community that we're in.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
can.
You're media, so
We've had a
let's do
burlesque
it.
performer. She was my wife. That was we needed someone that day.
Yeah, sweet.
And then we had Cody Lightning from Hey Victor, which was really big for us because, and he's from Echo as well. He's killing it in that show.
Sweet.
We had Wes Doyle show up.
Yep, director of
Doyle.
photography. Wes Doyle not only showed up as our first guest, he's an amazing director of photography, but he actually came out and then helped us film our other ones.
He shadowed us on a couple.
Yeah.
It was great.
He's always been a mentor.
Awesome and incredible at what he does.
Yeah, the guy's just amazing.
Wes Doyle, all pro.
So as a person that normally sees other students doing filming and editing, and you kind of see the really rough side of an artist really starting, it's incredible watching someone who's at the top of their game or who's been doing it for so long. It's subconscious. Because I look over to see, how are you framing it up? Can I match you or play off of you? And I look over, and that could be the final edit. Like, he's that good.
Yeah.
And he does it without thinking. It's incredible.
Yeah, he really does.
If you just go over here, just a touch, you'll get all that.
Yeah. And just a quick moment, I have to mention that during COVID, I was like, I don't know what to do. A lot of us were feeling that. And then I was just suddenly wanting to learn how to edit and how to shoot stuff. And it was Wes. I just called him, and he just came over, and we just started doing that stuff. So he was insanely helpful. And that turned into a kid show. Last plug, Small Things, Big Alberta. 3 seasons on TELUS TV I did with my wife with puppets traveling around Alberta and seeing cool things.
I promise it's not his last plug.
I've got 7 more plugs.
Plug away.
Right. I've already done that.
We've been trying really hard to make sure we've got a solid guest for each show. I mean, Matt and Paul can carry the show on their own if they need to. Yeah. But one of their strengths of being in this industry is so long is that they've shaken hands and rubbed elbows with all these different awesome people. Yeah. And, who doesn't want to just go for a beer with an old friend that they've worked on something before? Yeah. That's the vibe we're going for. So if we can sit there and show people how great this community is, how great the media community is, and the theater groups. I mean, let's freaking do it. Let's get people excited. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and like I've noticed there's been a lot of crossover with a lot of comedians that are performing at breweries, too. It's like, it seems like there's this weird like trajectory where everyone who's into drinking, comedy, it's not just bars now, it's like breweries.
Comedians could learn something from all the breweries. Just be nice to each other. There's lots of people who want to all see your stuff.
Work with each other.
Yeah.
That's my thing to
Oh, yeah,
the
it's,
newer guys.
It's hard.
That's the
I've
big
noticed
thing.
there's
Collaborate.
basically,
it's okay to work with one another.
yeah,
what
they're
I
not.
mean?
I don't know, but it seems like that. Like we're diving in that comedy world talk. It's like, yeah, like there's like 3 big turfs I've noticed in this town.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and
Ta-da-da.
I don't know, but
That's
that's always been a thing. Even when I was like, I always listened to Joe Rogan and talked about just the comedy scene in LA and how it became all crazy until not he directly like became the king and controlled everything, but he brought a like lack of like what do you call it, a scarcity mindset. He took that away. It's like, hey, there's room for everyone. And then now that he's gone at Austin, it's like sounds like that scene is back to like, you know, the inmates like coming at each other. But I don't know. That was a side little segue talk.
You can really feel the difference in a community that's lifting each other up and, you know, trying to get everybody across that finish line versus people that are really just trying to make it.
Yeah.
And once you have that desperation involved where it's, how am I paying rent this month? How am I going, you know, doing this next month?
Yeah.
Suddenly you're just trying to grab up everything you can because you don't know what's going to land.
Well, it's literally like Hunger Games, right? Like the movie, you know, like Hunger Games. It's like, you know, people try to get along until they're thrown in that Hunger Games situation.
Mhm.
Then it's like, then everyone's trying to kill each
You know,
other.
the indie band season, the indie band session, they're the same thing. You know, like if you're from a band in Calgary or Red Deer, Edmonton, they often enter into that same pool of like, I'm competing with you.
Yeah.
Instead of like, no, you guys should all back each other up.
Well, again, maybe they're in the Hunger Games situation where, like, you know, as Jay just said, maybe they're like, man, like I'm about to like go under, like as in I have no money left, and like I kind of have to like go ruthless today. And then that sucks, you know, because like I don't know, like not to get all woo woo spiritual whatever, but I swear when you don't think like that, the universe kind of somehow presents these opportunities. It's like the more scarcity you think, you literally attract scarcity. The more abundant and faithful you are, like it's really hard because like I've fallen for it too. It's like it's weird how you just kind of have to be like, okay, like there's enough for everyone, like and it just kind of shows up. I don't want to explain it. Next thing you know, like
since I mentioned bands, Seattle did that. They were all like different bands competing. They said screw that. They all started working together, promoting just the idea of Seattle bands, and all
they made a festival out of nowhere, probably, right?
Great bands coming out of Seattle. It's because they weren't shutting each other down.
Yeah. Well, what are festivals? It's
You
like
know
a bunch
who
of guys
hates Edmonton
collabing, right?
the most?
Well,
Edmontonians.
Edmontonians. The people who hate Edmonton the most, Edmontonians. It's probably the same in Calgary, though. Well, in Calgary, they also hate Edmontonians the most. But then their second thing, too, is Calgarians. Like, it's just, you know, how hard is it to break out of Alberta? It honestly, you know, people will be like, oh, my God, they filmed a whole show here in Alberta. And then a bunch of people just like, I don't want to watch it, though.
Well, I can't really speak for Calgary because I've never really done anything here besides
Well, they do
the
real
show.
film stuff here. They do,
But in Edmonton, I've noticed that there's a lot of people that feel like they're in some kind of small town where everybody that's trying to do work there is saying, well, it's not as good as LA, or I wish I could be here in New York instead. And they don't realize how much opportunity is still there.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as you're in that mindset where you're lifting people up and saying, well, what is here? What can we do? What can we make? Suddenly these other doors start opening. And now you've got to start telling people, well, I can't make it to that because I'm already doing this.
Yeah.
Please go talk to him. He's looking for stuff. He's good.
Yeah. The like the theme we're kind of talking about now, I guess we're kind of segued into it, is just it's like, oh, do you have to go to a big place that's already the hip and hop spot, like the hot spot to make it? Like there's so many examples now you don't. Like I'm a big MMA fanatic, like Leon Edwards, right? Yeah. He's the welterweight champion of the world right now. He's at the same small gym out in Liverpool, you know, like the English MMA gyms aren't known to have wrestling and shit. Yeah. And he just knocked out Kamaru Usman, who's like a Div 1 wrestler back in the day. If you think about it, like Bret Hart, right? Bret Hart was in Calgary, Alberta, you know, like representing, you know, like being the top town in WWE, like from Calgary, right? It's like you can do a lot of crazy shit. There just has to be
Bret Hart, by the way, I've met him twice, and he's like the nicest guy. And I guess it all goes back to just be nice to everyone. There's room for everybody. Yeah. If you celebrate whatever you're doing. Yeah. Instead of going like it's me against you.
Yeah. I don't know. It's harder said. It's harder. What do you call it? It's harder to do said than done consistently. Yeah. That's what I know. Because we can all do it from time to time, but it definitely is hard. Hey guys, I want to segue into a topic in your guys' world. Here.
Thanks.
I don't know, man. It's a podcast. It's like podcasts is conversations, right? Naturally, they flow. When I was talking to Don the Beer again for the 10th time, brought him up, but he was explaining.
You just need to call him at this point.
Yeah. He was explaining to me because he knows like all the stats about drinking due to him researching and talking to breweries and everything. But he was saying drinking actually is less popular now with people under 30. Like it's like literally noticeable consumer. Like people are buying, like they just drink less. Like culture has shifted.
Yeah.
They're more into
they didn't train enough in high school.
yeah, they didn't train up in high school, or if at all. Or I don't know, things have just changed because people
No, it
back
really
in the day,
has.
people socialize with alcohol, right?
It's also
gets rid
not
of
as easy
anxiety
to get. Like it was just easier to get when
we were younger.
I was one of those kids that didn't drink. Well, everyone, I was the nerd at the party all the time. So
What are you playing catch up?
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is they have noticed even some of my people that are in the brewers, they're switching to creating RTDs on purpose right now because beer has dropped, not to the point of like there's no business, but like it's dropped for sure. So they were like kind of noticing just by trends of what's ordered at clubs where people are younger and this and that. Like they've actually alcohol sales in general for 30 under apparently is lower.
I
because
guess that's
because
good
culture
news.
is,
I mean, over it's,
I don't know if it's good because like when you think from a business standpoint, like having a drinking lifestyle has a shelf life. Because like you get unhealthy if you're boozing all the time, right?
Right.
So you basically have to pick and choose your battles, and then your prime drinking years is when you're not married, you're out socializing all the time, and your body's young. So if 20 to 35 is supposed to be prime drinking years to make money off of people who create alcohol to sell it for loads of consumption, that demographic is actually like shrunk right now. So it's kind of interesting. So when you guys are doing your show now, it's like it's still catering to basically 30 and up, kind of like indirectly. Like I think that's what the stats are kind of like pointing towards. So it's kind of interesting to me because I don't know how this is all going to play out because there's a lot of breweries in this town, and the demand is what's economics. Like the demand is diminishing. Not to a point where like they can't run businesses, but the profit margins are definitely not as high. And like the people I talk to,
I believe it goes in waves though as a fad. It's like swing dancing. Cool. It's gonna come back and hit the kids all of a sudden, and they'll all be like,
"I think so too. I think so too."
Like,
because
craft beer's back.
Yeah, no, I think so too. Because
even within the places that we've been talking with, there's been they were talking about a couple places that have started up, had to shut down.
Oh shit.
Most of the places that we've been to started during COVID.
Yeah. The average is definitely under 5 years.
And all of their sales are going up. They're
yeah. Oh yeah, no, I can't speak for everyone. Like I just know like the stats from the people I've talked to, and then like this isn't a Calgary thing. This is like a world thing. Like it's noticeable now. Like there's just things have shifted because people, Gen Zs are they're not as going to the bar to meet people. Like they literally are a digital age. Like the interactions are so digital, and by the time they meet in person, it's like
they just skip the bar altogether. And
meet
up, which is much safer.
So I was looking into these demographics around February timeframe,
and a generation after that, people might just say, "Screw the phones" and
come back to drinking. Like
I think the popularity of Kim Mitchell is the reason it happened. With his song, might as well go for a soda.
Well,
the kids love that song. They're playing it all the time.
Were never spoken. So
this isn't like a oh no, like there's no room for bars because otherwise I'd be fucked.
Well, no, we've taken this into account. I've looked up in mid-February some of the demographics we'd be working with, and just from my estimations on similar YouTube channels, things like Food Network shows that were kind of following their blueprint a little bit.
Yeah.
I was estimating about 35 to 45% of our audience would be in that general age range that you're talking about.
20, 35.
And that the majority of our audience would be coming from people who are not active drinkers.
Yeah.
Very similar to most YouTube channels that do very niche content. Almost 90% of their audience are people that don't partake in that activity itself.
And if I could encourage one young person to start drinking.
Aimless scrolling or people that are living through that person that's the host, or just kind of trying to get involved on the YouTube and video front. It's entertainment at the end of the day.
Is this a bad time to mention our new show called Let's Try Different Kinds of Cigarettes? It's aimed towards the creative.
Yeah, so it's going to be part of like our script structure is trying to make sure those people that have never really stepped into a bar or not avid drinkers still have something to watch. I mean, Paul's learning the entire process of brewing, and there's a huge Alberta culture here that's actively brewing their own beers, getting involved on the kind of hands-on front.
Yeah.
And then we're also tapping the people that love these bars. They want us to go and rep their bar. And so we're very fortunate doing it in a video format that we can touch all these different communities and not just sell beer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. So I get it. Like your show is not just about like, hey, promote this beer to sell beer. It's also just it's an internet show.
Yeah,
it's like it draws clicks and views as an internet show. You know, it's
we do beer facts and beer history.
Learning about the what? How did we pitch it? Learning about
I forgot how we pitched it, but it was great.
It was really good. But basically, like learning about beer and the people behind them.
Yeah.
There's no one that we've met that decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to start brewing my own beer. Not one of those people is a boring individual. They're all characters.
They're just all wild degenerates.
They've all got their own story.
Hey,
the Raven Wolf, the guy made the place look like a ship. You could go up to the second level and there's a steering wheel.
Straight out of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Like at the end of the day, I've come to the realization as an entrepreneur, it's like you got to do what you love. Like whether you like quote unquote get rich or not, because like you're gonna want to be doing that anyway, even if you made no money. So
everyone that
money
we've met within this industry,
as long as it comes to the point where you have what you need, it should pick up more. You know, I don't know. Like it's
everyone that we've met like on this tour in the last several weeks is completely that.
Yeah,
they're all a character. They know what they want. They know what they're doing. They enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
They love doing it. They love doing it for the people around them, to have a place to hang out and have a drink and have a good time. Everyone's been...
Yeah, it's like they're creating a home away from home for these regulars.
Yeah, big
people that want to come in and just sit next to some random beside them and actually talk and see what's going on.
Oh, dude, that's what a bar always is. That's
and
what,
a hole in the wall as well. You know what I mean? To have that sort of...
Yeah,
dude. But the other way,
pretty unassuming.
Like bars and taverns have always been clubhouses. You know, it's like community gathering places. You know, it's like obviously the income for the owners come from selling the products, but but we're pivoting too. That's why we added the podcast element, right? It's like as we grow a show, get people to rent this studio out. Like as we grow this channel too, like have a Patreon as well. You know, it's like things are shifting, and it's no longer just about boozing and. It's about socializing in a different way.
This is really fun, by the way, because the whole bars out here. If you're just listening to this, and we can see everyone, and I kind of feel like
Disney trivia night tonight.
Disney trivia night,
free to play.
Gaston. Oh, I ruined it. No, I feel like we're like a fish tank almost, or just kind of like an exhibit or like an art piece.
It's funny when people they rent the studio on Friday nights and Saturday nights. We'll get randoms just renting out the studio, and they'll do spontaneous podcasts, and people will be around. But almost none of those get published because they're just so drunk when they're filming. And
they'll. I'm a little tipsy today. Full disclosure, we had a flight, so I feel like some of my words should be fixed. So we could fix that in post.
Every slur is staying in.
Yeah,
every single one.
Every single slur. When we say slur, it's a real slur, and I didn't do a slur.
My friend always said like record drunk, but. Edit sober. Yeah. So I adhere to that. Yeah. No. I'm not here making anyone look bad. Trust me. Like I already make myself look bad.
I think that was Hemingway.
Some of my pods.
Hemingway, don't make me look bad on the podcast.
No. Right drunk. Edit sober.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah. Well, we're copying Hemingway then. Hey Jay, tell me your military background. I'm always fascinated with that.
This is great.
Yeah, I'm a prior service U.S. Marine.
U.S. Marine, cool. So was that 18 to 20? Like, what's the age that you were serving?
So I was in between 2013 and 2017.
Okay.
So that would be,
10 years ago.
Yeah, like 18 to 20. No, hold on. Wait a minute. I was younger in 24.
18, 24. It's 5-year terms, right? Kind of.
4 years for most people. So that means my math is wrong out the jump. 18 to 22.
Okay.
And so got stationed in Hawaii. Did some really great work with like Australian units, Canadian units. Hawaii's only big enough for 2 units at a time, but 3 of them are stationed there, which means someone is always on a deployment.
Yeah.
So it's a very fast turnaround. You've got to really want to be there, and especially if you're infantry like I was, you got to love what you do, or you're just not going to make it.
Yeah.
So it's a really good time. Met a lot of really good people. Learned a lot of lessons about team leading, managing, and most importantly, how to follow instruction.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to be leaders, but you have to know how to be a part of that team first, or it just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of those life lessons, I mean, people say that infantrymen don't have a trade, and I just think that's not true. I mean, you learn so many ways to deal with people and strong personalities.
Yeah.
I've never met an infantryman that's, not a strong person mentally or physically. And so being able to juggle those personalities sets me up for wrangling these two idiots after they've had 2 flights.
Yeah.
I play an idiot on television and am one in real life.
No, they're really great.
More quick questions just for my military curiosity. Just because I listen to a lot of military like podcasts, like Jocko Willink's like one of my heroes. He's the background on my phone, and I don't know, like Jocko wouldn't approve of all the drinking, but whatever. But
I was mentioning the P Diddy raid on the way up as we were carpooling down here, and he was telling me about the fun of doing what were they, house raids? It was an exercise.
They're called shoot houses when you do them in the military.
Yeah,
and
just like Call of Duty,
they're an absolute blast. I mean, you've really got to know your stuff, especially if you're doing live fire. You need really good instructors to teach. And I mean, one of my staff sergeants was a door kicker in Fallujah back in the day. So I got taught firsthand by someone who's been there and done it. And even though I never had to do that myself, it's a whole lot of fun if you take it seriously, if you know your stuff. And I mean, you got 4 people behind you, and there's always somebody kicking and open the door. And then you're basically just shuffling through that house, clearing everything, calling out to people. It's an absolute riot. It's high adrenaline. And you really got to be on your game. I mean, one of my first times going through a live fire shoot house, I had a corpsman, which is a Navy medical professional, who was right behind me. He was so excited. I mean, he was qualified on the weapon and everything. It was his first time doing anything live fire like that. And we're getting ready to go through that first door, and I feel the barrel of his weapon sink into my calf as he's getting excited.
Yeah.
And I just had to take a moment and turn around.
And be like, really, don't shoot my leg off,
like,
bro.
You need to unfuck yourself before we go through this door, or I'm going to do it for you.
Yeah.
And I try not to be an aggressive person, but sometimes you got to flip the switch and make sure nothing goes wrong.
Yeah. No, dude.
By the way, we changed our Brewery Touries format, which originally followed this, where we would just kick open the door, clear the area, grab our beers. We decided that was too aggressive.
We dialed it back.
The Brewery Touries!
Yeah, we've got about 6 different shots of Matt screaming, "Put the tasters on the counter!
Put the tasters on the floor! Everybody be cool! Yeah. This is a tasting!"
It was Jay, the one who shut down, be like, "Let's do this like this."
You know what, guys,
too familiar. Too familiar. Let's dial it back. Let's take it down. And,
Oh yeah, Jay. I was just curious. Like so in the military, I've always was curious about this. So it's 4-year terms, and then you like the people who stay, it's because they keep re-upping their 4 years, kind of, and then you make a career out of it if you want to just stay the whole time.
So I can only speak for the Marine Corps because that was the only service I was in.
Yeah,
and it's a very small, tight knit community. And so if you sign an 8-year contract, 4 of them are active duty, which means you're out there at a station doing your job. And then the next 4 years are inactive, which is, you go home, you go fuck off somewhere, you go to school, whatever. And if for whatever unholy reason someone needs you, they're able to recall you.
Okay.
I don't think that's ever happened in my lifetime.
Yeah.
So you're basically done after your 4.
Okay. So then you were on your 4, then you did your 4 post-service, like post-active duty. Yep. And then you did a complete career change to come to Calgary?
A buddy of mine was up in Edmonton.
Did we go over how you ended up in Calgary? Edmonton?
That's where I'm going now. Okay, I've got a buddy up in Edmonton.
Yeah.
I've been playing video games with him since we were in, early middle school. Before esports even existed for some of you gamers now. We were in there playing League before it was even had a season. And I
played on Atari.
He reached out to me because I think I was fixing printers. Like I said, I like working with my hands. I always have. And he was like, "Bro, what are you doing? You need to do something with your life. You're one of the smartest people I know, and you're out there, going into an elementary school and making sure their shit prints.
Yeah.
Like, come to school, go do something."
Yeah.
And so I kind of joked with him. I'd never been good in school. I didn't get good at, figuring out how I learned until I was in the military. And I said, "You know what? You figure out a place for me to stay, and I'll apply wherever the hell you want. Doesn't matter to me." And he said, "Great. I just finished my guest bedroom. Guess you're coming up to Edmonton."
Okay.
And then
So
a month and a half later, I drove up there, lived in his guest bedroom for a couple months before I met my wife.
You met your wife in Edmonton?
Yeah.
Okay.
She snatched me up as soon as I crossed the border.
That's awesome. Hang on. So like, okay. So this sounds kind of funny in my imagination.
No, it is
it's
funny.
like you're like a GI Joe, and it's like,
Uh-huh.
okay, you're kind of done now. It's like you can re-up or not. And you're like, well, I'm in the post active duty 4 years. Like, okay, what are you gonna do? And it's like you pick the most like passive job. You're like, I'm gonna fix printers, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, warrior guy, like we need you back. It's like, okay, well, never mind, we don't need you right now. What are you gonna do? It's like he's all ready. You're ready, all trained up. You're ready to go, and then you're like, okay, I think I'm gonna rake leaves. it's like you just always default to something so like
Well, I'm a pretty
Like
I'm a pretty laid back person
and then,
in general.
So your buddy had to be like, okay, no, you're not utilizing your full potential. Like, so he had to like really like push you for you basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But that's what good friends do. Like they push you in the right direction. They make sure you're doing something.
Heck yeah.
And you always reach out to those people that have kind of gone quiet on you. Make sure that you're doing your thing, making sure you're taking your vitamin D in the winter that you guys do up here.
Okay.
And he's that guy. I mean, he's always that guy that's going to reach out and make sure everything's okay. And I love him to death for it.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Boys, I'm going to wind this down right now. I guess Brewery Touries, all the information in the show notes. I love what you guys are doing. I'm going to join you tomorro when this podcast gets out.
It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, exactly. And great meeting you, Jay, as well. Very interesting. You guys weren't kidding when you said, "Hey, Jay's interesting."
Oh yeah,
this,
no.
And
Jay was the thing that completed this whole group. So it's been a real.
He's made us friends again.
He's like the leader of the Three Stooges.
He's definitely the adult. He's definitely the adult. So I gotta put it that way.
Yeah, he's the adult. Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Sweet.
He's the adult.
So are you going to be joining our chug challenge when you're there with us tomorrow?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
We do a chug challenge, and we mark everyone's thing, just like a Top Gear when everyone gets their lap.
Okay.
It's like that. Each brewery's got their own thing, but guests can participate as well, and we'll have a little guest chart.
Okay.
So far, Cody Lightning did it in 5.6 seconds.
He's top 2 or 3. He's
I think everyone.
Just
looks like I'm Ubering to this place.
So fast.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Uber, it's safer.
Yeah, we've been trying really hard to get an Arrive Alive sponsor as well, because we feel like that should be represented too as part of the drink experience.
Yeah, and we don't recommend that people who drink craft beer chug it. We do explain that it's pretend it's a certain situation, like your wife is pregnant or there's a house fire and you need to drink this
and get out.
In a few seconds and go.
Okay.
You can't leave it. It's a great craft. You were just served the craft beer in this scenario.
I'll make sure to sleep well tonight and eat a big breakfast.
Great. But first, why don't we go try a flight?
Yeah. Or just drink period. Yeah. Okay,
Perfect.
cool. Okay, bye everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.